Hello, in this video you will learn a bit about how client scripts work and how you can use them to make your canvas look dynamic and fluid. In this example I have an account in the accounts module, and you can see this is a simple looking canvas. I have a field for the accounts module called subscription type, and you can see here it can be a bronze, silver, or a gold. So let's say I'm looking for this field every time I load this account record, and instead of looking at the field down here, maybe I want a graphic to show up here. So in this case, maybe I want a bronze, silver, or gold medal to show up right next to the BMI company name, and I want that to be dynamic, so it's always updated according to the subscription type field. So in order to get started, let's first edit this canvas, and I have it loaded up right here. I've gone ahead and found my 3 images that I want to use. In order to use these with client scripts, or have these interact with client scripts, we need to update the element ID. So in this case, you can see the gold medal is called gold, and we could do this by clicking on the pencil icon here called change element ID. So that's how you can give it the gold name. And likewise, silver is called silver, bronze has the bronze, silver, or element ID. Now to start off with, I've made them all invisible. So if you click on the image, you can set the visibility to hide. So I've hidden them all because we only want to show the appropriate medal depending on the subscription type. Now to get started with client scripts, actually let's save this. There you go. To get started with client scripts, we'll go into settings, and we will find client scripts within the developer hub section. Now let's go ahead and create a new client script, and we'll name it show. Here we go, and we'll select module. For the page, we will select the detail page canvas. This is different from the detail page standard, because standard would be the default view that Zoho comes with, as you can see right here. So we're going to select the canvas view, which would be this. So go ahead and select that. We're going to select the accounts module, layout. Here we can select the canvas if you have multiple canvas. In this case we only have one. And now we're going to select the type. And the first thing we want to do is create a client script for displaying the images when the accounts record is loaded, meaning when I pull up the record or if I refresh the record. So every time it loads, I want it to show the image. So that is a page event, and the event is called onload. So onload, it will run the client script. Click next. Okay, so you can just go ahead and delete these. One thing to help you with writing client scripts is this documentation right here. In the library, it is called CRM API 2.0, and there's a question mark and some pages. Just go ahead and click on that, and it will open up the developer space for all of your documentation here. So the first thing we want to do is have the client script pull or fetch the subscription type field, because we want to know which image to show. So in order to do that, if we go into our documentation, we can go into client API right here, the tab, and we can go into objects and the field. This will allow us to use client scripts that interact with various fields on the canvas. In this case, we only want to get the value of the field. So if you come to the right side here, you can see all of these functions we can use, and we can see our get value function right here. And we'll go ahead and copy this into the client script. Oh, make sure this is on another line. Okay. So here we have variable field object equals, and you can see we're getting field, and this is the custom field. Now this custom field name right here is the API name of the field we are trying to get. So let's first find that. We'll go ahead and go back to settings, and we'll go into our API settings. That's right here, found under developer hub. Click on API names, accounts, and we'll search subscription. You see this is the API name. So we're going to go ahead and copy this into the field right here, get field. And maybe we'll rename the variable as well. We'll say sub type field. So now we have a variable called subtype field that contains the object information about this field, but we only want to get the value. So that's where the get value function comes in. So make sure to, there we go. Now we'll save this value inside another field. So we'll name it subtype equals field object dot get value. So now our subtype variable right here contains the actual value of whatever our subscription type is, whether it's bronze, silver, or gold. So now that we have the value, we want to run a bunch of if statements to check what the value is and then update the images accordingly. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll write if brackets. So we'll do if subtype is equal to bronze, then we want to show only the bronze image. So in order to show images on canvas, or to make their visibility equal to true, let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So I believe, yeah, right here. So it is called UI element. We will use these UI elements to interact with the canvas. And you can see a function here called set visibility. Let's click on that. So you can see here we are getting the element by ID, and that's the ID we set up earlier. And we will set the visibility to true. So let's go ahead and copy this and paste it within the if statement right here. And make sure to do that. Okay. So we'll say variable bronze image goes get element by ID. And what was our ID again for the bronze? It was right here. It was just called bronze. So we are getting the element by ID. The ID is bronze, and we're saving that inside an image, bronze image variable. And we'll take that and we'll just set the visibility as true. Now, to avoid any other mistakes or any hiccups, what we will do is copy this code, and we'll make sure to set the visibility of the other elements or the other silver and gold medals to false. So this way, whenever the subtype is bronze, we want to only show the bronze and hide the other images. So we'll start with silver, and we'll set the visibility to false for the silver image. So make sure to rename the variables accordingly. Okay, now let's do this for gold. So we get the gold element, save it inside the gold image variable, and then we set that visibility to false. Okay, so now we set up the if scenario for if the subtype is bronze. Now we go ahead and copy this, and we write else if. Now else if subtype is silver, then we want to go take the bronze ID, the bronze image, and set the visibility to false, because we are trying to hide that now in case it was showing before, and we want the silver one to be true. Okay, so now we do the same thing for gold, and we say hide the bronze, hide the silver. So we set the visibility to false for the silver image, and then we set the visibility to true for the gold image, just like that. So let's go ahead and save this, and we'll come back to our company account here, refresh, and we should see the bronze medal show up, just like that. Great, so it's working. Now let's change this to silver. Refresh the field again, so we trigger the client script on the load, and you see the silver. Let's try with gold. And now you see the gold. Great, so it's working. So when we update the subscription type and refresh the field, that triggers the onload of the client script, and it loads up the correct medal. One thing you've noted is that if we change the subscription type, let's say we go from gold to silver, you can see the image doesn't change right away. That is of course because we set up the client script to only run when the page is loaded. So if I refresh the page, then the client script runs, and it hides the other medals and only shows the silver one if the subtype is silver. So let's make another client script, and in this case we will run it whenever we change the subscription type. So let's see how we do that. So let's go to our client scripts again, and we want to copy all of this code to use in the other client script. Great, copy that. Now let's close, and we'll create a new client script, and this time we'll say change sub type image on field. Okay, we'll just say on field. Okay, so we'll do module page. Again, we want the detail page for canvas. Select accounts, layout, correct canvas, and this time instead of page event we will choose field event, and the field would be subscription type, and the event will be on before update. Now what this event does is it runs a client script right before you update the field. So let's click on next. We'll paste our code here. So now we're running the field, or we're running this client script to update the image when the field changes. However, we cannot use this line anymore to get the subscription type because we're updating that field to a new value. So what we actually want is a new value we are updating, and that is found in the parameter right here called value. So right before we update the field, this client script will run, and it would give us the new value of that field instead of the value that already exists on the page, which we are trying to change for a subtype. So we're going to take this value and we're going to erase line number 1 because we don't need that anymore, and we're going to make subtype equal to that new value, just like that. So now if that new value is bronze, silver, or gold, then the client script will change the images accordingly. Now let's click save and test this out. We'll come back to our account here and just refresh to get that client script loaded in. Great. So now let's change subscription type to gold. Click enter, and you can see the image change right away. Let's try bronze. Click enter. The image changed right away. And of course, if I were to refresh this for another account, the image would show according to the subscription type anyways. So now we have 2 client scripts making our canvas look a lot more dynamic and fluid now, based on the subscription type. You can imagine how complex and how creative you can get with using client scripts to adapt and change the way your canvas looks in real time, depending on any number of criteria you have going on in your CRM account. Thanks for watching this video. We at BMI are always here to help you with anything you guys might need, so feel free to reach out. Thanks.